Do you think you can spot if someone is bluffing? Well, good luck, because in this video, you get to play a game. Take a good look at the players' faces and study their betting patterns, and get ready to answer the question, are they bluffing or not bluffing? Action has been folded to Neil Farrell in the small blind.
Oh man, blind on blind hands are tough. I'm rooting for a walk. Dang it.
Not going to happen. Farrell raises to 17,000.
What do we got?
De Meulder's hand is Ace-5.
Yep, gotta call it this. No need for a 3-bet because we're usually either a little ahead or real far behind.
He loves his TV time, this boy.
He's been on TV since he was like 6.
He calls for an additional 11,000. We go to the flop, which is ace-high.
That's top pair for us.
Farrell set to continue. He bets 20,000.
And we have to be expecting he's going to continue his entire range here, which is super wide, small to big, so of course we have to call this.
There's the call. 81,000 in the pot. Another ace on the turn. Trips now for De Meulder.
I'm starting to like this more and more. That was a weird little stutter step. Wonder what that means.
Farrell bets again, 35K.
Whatever, doesn't matter. We're not folding. It's kind of hard for us to be beat, but what makes me worried is it's also kind of hard for him to be bluffing.
Excuse me.
Must be allergic to betting in the trips.
De Meulder calls a second time. 9 of hearts on the river.
This is not a good card for us. I am really hoping he doesn't bet again.
There are now 3 hearts on the board. The flop flush draw got there.
Where's your coughing now, Neil? Where's your coughing now?
He empties the clip. He fires the third barrel. 78,000.
With that heart on the river, I think we gotta fold our hand. Neil could certainly have hearts in his triple barrel range, and pretty much no worse hands would bet here for value.
What do you have?
You'd have to have pure air for us to call.
Full house? You have a full house? It's a good hand.
Wait a minute. I don't think this is a bluff.
De Meulder folds. Neil Farrell also had ace-5, the same hand.
Ah, that's terrible.
My ball just dropped under the table.
What did you fold? I thought I knew what you had, and then I wasn't sure.
Round to Pablo Gordillo in the big blind. He calls as well, so 3-way to the flop.
Poker's answer to Al Bundy scoring 4 touchdowns in 1 game. Gordillo winning 3 tournaments in a night.
Well, Benny flops a flush draw.
Well, all right, all right, all right.
Action check to Killeen. And this is a continuation bet of 36,000.
Calling would be totally standard here for us.
He does call. Gordillo folds. He had 10-7 off.
Whew. Somehow dodged that one.
The turn card is a queen. That's second pair for Benny to go with his draw.
Well, we were probably already not folding to another bet. Now we're already not folding even harder.
That almost made sense. 88,000 from Killeen.
We're gonna have the best hand here a lot, but if we call here and he bombs the river, I think we might have to fold. Assuming we don't improve, that is. Hi, Liv. I like your shiny shirt.
Spindler calls the second barrel, and we go to the river. And that's a flush for Benny.
Not as good as the ace of spades would have been, but we'll take it.
Is Killeen gonna fire a third time? No, he checks.
And when he checks, I don't think he's got a bigger flush very often, which was very much possible until this point.
The yellow chips are worth 25,000. The blues are 5,000. Benny going for value, 200,000.
I like a big bet here.
Looks like Killeen is calling. Oh, hang on a sec.
Okay, this is troubling. This is like when a cop starts immediately writing in his notebook. You know you're not getting off with just a warning. Raise.
Killeen pushes forward 525,000.
Even though it's against us, I love this play. This makes total sense if he's got the nuts, because expecting to bet and then get raised would be silly. This is also a great move with just the ace of spades in his hand. I actually think, though, that if you were making a play with ace of spades, Kevin probably bets bigger here. That's my gut.
Call.
Benny's calling,
Call.
and Killeen tables the nuts.
Such a gross spot. Really hard to blame Benny for calling there. Hey, remember when Benny Spindler used to be the crazy one?
Svendiari facing a raise from Vivek Rajkumar.
Oh yeah, this too. We're almost always going to 3-bet jacks. We don't want to take this flop as many ways as Dan Shack has kids.
56?
Vivek calls.
And we can already start to narrow Vivek's range by him making this call. Worst he's going to have at this point is suited connectors. Best to say 2 10s. Maybe he'd do this with queens. Probably not, though.
All clubs on the flop, ace deuce tray.
Checks to the razor. That's us! Check here is good for us, too. We can't get value out of worse hands, and we've got good equity against almost everything.
Another ace on the turn.
Vivek's often going to bet this turn whether he has an ace or not.
He does bet 75,000.
The ace hitting makes it less likely he has one. His propensity to bluff at this and our flush and boat draws mean we pretty much have to call, even though this is a big bet.
Antonio does call. There's now 284,000 in the middle. King of clubs on the river. Esfandiari now has a flush.
Oh, hi. Sweet card for us. If Vivek bets, we're going to call most bets. We have the second up flush, so we can be beating even some value bets.
Looks like Vivek will bet. Green chips are 25,000. The blues are 5,000, so that's 105,000.
This is a bet we can certainly call.
Looks like Antonio will call.
8 of clubs.
Jack of clubs. Ooh, and he did have an ace. Little blocker bet there from Vivek. May have saved him some chips, or cost him some, depending on how thin we were value betting. Hadn't quite figured that out yet.
What'd you have, Vic?
8 of clubs.
What was the other card? I mean, I could have asked to seen it. You're supposed to show first.
Yeah, man, that's not really cool. Steve O'Dwyer with the Macau Cacao.
We're going to sweat with Steve on this hand and play it from Mr. O'Dwyer's point of view. It's his small blind. Deuce 4.
Yeah, let's see a flop with these.
He calls. No raise from Roger. He checks his option.
We're probably behind.
Well, Steve flops bottom pair. Plus, he has a couple of backdoor draws working for him.
A pair is going to be the best hand most of the time.
He checks the action, and Roger Sipple bets 175,000.
We've got the perfect hand to check call with.
O'Dwyer does call. And just to annoy Joe, I'm going to say that Steve has improved to 2 pair.
Technically, you are not wrong. And we are hoping Roger checks behind, but it doesn't look like he's gonna.
Yeah, looks like another bet's coming.
But the way he's looking so concerned makes me think he could have a monster here.
550,000.
Steve's probably gonna call again. There is a pretty small range of hands Roger could have that are value hands.
Steve does call, and we have a pot of 1.68 million. A 9 on the river. Steve checks for a third time.
Pretty passive line.
I'm all in.
And Roger shoves for 2.2 million. It's an overbet. How does Steve O'Dwyer respond to this?
I'm gonna remind everyone, monster is what I think Roger has here. He is repping a very narrow range, but I think he's got it this time. How often is he bluffing here?
Hero call.
Full house.
Got him.
That is a monster.
I can't beat a full house. I was hoping you couldn't beat a full house. Can't beat much of anything, but
On this hand, we're going to go in the tank with Daniel. We'll only see his hole cards, which are 7-5. He's called. Phil, who now has a ridiculous chip lead, calls out of the small blind.
Interesting limp by us like verbal Kint. Hopefully we'll get away with it. Like verbal Kint.
Maria has checked her option. We're going three-way to the flop. Queen 6-4. Up and down straight draw for Daniel.
That's about as good a flop as we could hope for. Plus, we're Daniel. We're gonna get there.
Phil bets out. Maria folds.
I like calling here. Sometimes Phil will give up and we can steal it. Sometimes we'll hit our hand.
Daniel does call. The turn card is a 7. Second pair for Daniel to go with that straight draw. Phil checks.
I think we should probably just check. I think we should probably just bet. I meant to say bet.
Daniel does bet. And what's Phil thinking?
He's thinking, what's this guy got? What's this guy over here got? What does he got me beat?
Oh, Phil's check raised.
And that's why I was going to opt for a check there. We can't really fold this, I don't think. The problem is if we can and don't improve when we face Phil's bet on the river, we'll be in a real spot.
Time ticking away for Daniel. 10 seconds left to make a decision. He elects to call.
Like there was ever any doubt what Daniel was going to do.
The river card is the 7 of hearts. Trips for Daniel, but it does put a potential flush out there.
Well, what was I thinking? We're Daniel Negreanu. We're Kid Poker. Documentary coming soon. Of course we're going to improve. The problem is that Phil could have been raising us on the turn with a flush draw. Easily.
Yeah. 10 seconds. 5 seconds. And there's a bet from Phil.
Last time we played against Phil, I was dead certain we should call, and I was dead wrong. In this spot, I think he's going to have us beat a lot.
Oh, boy.
Like a one-legged laundry clerk, I am leaning toward a fold.
Daniel is down to 10 seconds.
I need a time.
He plays a time bank chip.
The one thing we got going for us is that I don't think Phil expects us to have a 7 very often. He could be trying to bluff us off a worse hand. But Phil knows how much Daniel loves to call, and Daniel knows Phil knows that.
I just feel like you have full house. You got queen 7.
This is basically old poison wine routine.
I don't think I can fold it.
Daniel calls.
Ace queen.
Phil claims to have ace queen, but he doesn't. He was bluffing with jack 8.
Ivey's fallen victim to one of the classic blunders.
Ace queen, huh? Okay. This is Ivy style. Ace queen or 8-9, whatever. I don't remember.